Welcome to our program, Life Hacks with Google. My name is Chris. I'm with Tampa-Hillsborough County Public Library, and I'm joined this evening by Chloe, who also works for the library. Hi, Chloe, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well this evening. Chris, and you?
I'm doing good. All right, so our program, again, is Life Hacks with Google. I'll tell you a little bit about why we're doing the program in our next slide. This program is part of a partnership with USF's School of Responsive Librarianship Group. It's the School of Information's Responsive Librarianship Group. And it's a collaboration with them, and we're creating programs that help families in need. So this month's theme is digital literacy and technology, and that's why we're having this program. So that's a little background for you, but now I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to turn off my camera, and I invite Chloe to do the same. And Chloe, I'm going to hand things over to you, so have a great program, and I'll see you at the end.
Excellent, thank you. So the goals of this program to provide introductory information on services and tools, as well as applications that are available to you with a free Google account that will make your life easier. To start out, I want to talk about one of our resources that is relevant to this presentation. Through Universal Class, you are able to take an online class. It's included with your library card account. You'll just use your standard login. Google Sheets is one of the classes that's available, and there are other Google classes that are available as well. They have some good information. So starting out, I just wanted to get started talking about how you get to these apps and tools for you to use. So this is just the standard Google search page. So if you go to google.com, you would log in, and then in the upper right corner where you see that I've got that box with the arrow, that's the app menu. In that second picture there, you can see I've clicked it, and it has a full list. Not all of the applications are displayed there, but all of the ones that I'm going to be talking about today will be there in that menu. So I want to start with Google Maps. Many of you may be familiar with this app. It's also it's available on Apple, Android, on smart displays, and on the computer. This is very commonly used. It allows you to find addresses and directions for locations. In addition to that, you can check the hours of operation, and Google also tends to be pretty good with updating for holidays and that kind of thing, and closures. It also allows you to check your commute time. If you are logged in, you can enter in your home address and your work address and check your commute time. That way you know just how long it's going to take you to get to work or back home, and how to avoid those slowdowns or what different routes you can take. Allows you a couple different options with whether you want to drive on highways or avoid tolls and that kind of thing. So these are some lesser known applications that are provided by Google. The first I'm going to talk about is News. It's a website that's also available as an app, and it's a source for a consolidated list of the top news articles and headlines. These are not articles that are written by Google, but rather they're ones that have been pulled from all around the web, just based on the popularity and what people are reading right now. It also shows the trends going on. That way you can stay up to date. Some people consider it to be pretty apolitical because it's just an aggregate of what's going on, so it pulls from all sources. Talking about alerts, it's similar in that it's a website as well as an app that allows you to set up to receive notifications about specific subjects or different content. A lot of business owners can use this to track when their websites or their business name is mentioned on different news websites or social media and that kind of thing. It's a good way to be able to track your mentions and how you are being discussed. So moving to tools to communicate. These are some commonly used applications. Duo is a very useful tool. If you have an iPhone or an Android and you're trying to call a friend or a relative that does not have the same kind of phone or tablet, using Google Duo would allow you to place a video call. So you don't have to worry about a platform-specific type of app for that, like FaceTime. It allows you to call across platforms as well as to send messages. Chat, previously known as Hangouts. It is an application that allows you to message others directly or in chat rooms. It tends to be very helpful for students because they can add their classmates or study groups into specific rooms. That way you can all communicate and study at the same time. Likewise with businesses, it's a very useful tool as you can have your entire team messaging at the same time, another version of an instant message. Google Translate is also extremely useful. It's available on Apple and Android as well as just through the web. It allows you to translate between languages, between 108 languages. And it gives you a few options. You can use the device's camera to, for example, you could use the camera to scan a sign and see what it says. So if you need to know what this sign is saying about which way to go or that kind of thing, it will translate for you and superimpose the text over the image. You can also use your microphone on your device and speak into it, and it will translate as the person speaks. You can also use the keyboard to type into, or rather to type your entry in, and it will translate between the languages that you specify. I do want to add that Google Translate does have limitations. It can be amusing because it doesn't account for colloquialisms, so common use language, slang, that kind of thing, and it doesn't allow for context. So it may be a technically correct translation, but it may not be a direct translation. That said, even though it is not always completely accurate in that sense, it is extremely useful because it at least gets you a basis to be able to communicate when you may not have any additional tools. I also wanted to talk about tools for productivity. So these may be more commonly known. Google Docs is a word processing app. It's similar to Word. One of Google's slogans with this is get to your documents anywhere, anytime. And I'll be doing a demonstration for Docs, Drive, and Calendar. Moving forward, Sheets is a spreadsheet app, similar to Excel. Slides is a presentation app, similar to PowerPoint. Drive is an app that allows you to store your files, and that is cloud storage, so you can access that from any device, smart displays, as well as cell phones and tablets and computers. And then Calendar is an app that, to quote Google, helps you spend less time managing your schedule and more time enjoying it. One thing I'd like to add about all of these tools that I have mentioned thus far in the presentation is that these are all free services, free tools. So I compared the above apps on this slide to those of Word and Excel and PowerPoint. They're similar to Microsoft's Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. However, Docs, Sheets, Slides are free, so they are more basic versions. They do the same function, however, they are a bit reduced, and that's because of just the paid content. They're a very useful thing for being able to share files across devices as well as with other people. So I've got an example here of Google Sheets. This is a spreadsheet. This is just from a template that's provided by Google. It's for a monthly budget. And I don't have included here, but it has instructions that's normally listed at the top. It tells you how to enter each thing into the field, the different values, and how it will calculate for you. That way you can use it to the best of its function and utility. These templates mean that you don't have to know all the different functions or what equations to put in. They're pre-built, so you just plug and play. Essentially, you plug in your numbers where they're supposed to be, and it does the work for you. Google Slides. This is a template that was available through Google Slides, just on the home page. They had a number of different ones based on what you wanted to be doing, and they're all just templates. I have here on the title page where it says prototyping presentation. That blue box is where I've selected, and I could have removed that text and replaced it with my own. All of these are just templates, so you would remove the text or images and replace them with your own. It just, as with Sheets, it supplies you with the basic setup so that you don't have to go through necessarily and do all of that formatting. Moving on to Google Docs. This is a template. This one was just of a letter. This can be super useful in the sense that not everyone knows how to specifically address, say, a business letter, what the format should be, where the date and the address it should go, and that sort of thing. Another way that it's formatted for you and you just replace where you need it to go. I'm going to move into a demonstration of Google Docs here. Bear with me just a moment. So here we have the Google search page, and I'm going to go up to this app menu, and I'm going to scroll down to Google Docs. So here you can see some of the template gallery. This is what I was talking about, where it has a number of different templates for different uses. Excellent for students or those who are just entering the job market. There are preset templates for resumes. These are for business letters, but it's useful for more than just that. You can create pet resumes. So if you take your pets to different competitions, or if you are creating, this one is for a recipe entry. So say you're creating a recipe book, you can go in and you can format this, print it out, and it would be uniform with your recipes and just beautifully done. I'm going to navigate back. Something else I wanted to touch on here is if I exit the template gallery. Bear with me, it's loading. Okay, so if I exit the template gallery, down here you can see my recent documents. So these are ones that have been edited. It shows when they were last edited. Here, this little person icon, that's where a document has been shared with someone else. So it's a very useful tool where if you need to consistently make edits with a team member or a group project, if you're in school, a very useful tool for that, to be able to share documents back and forth without necessarily having to send new iterations of the document each time it has been changed, because these documents are stored in Google Drive. Moving on to Google Drive, I mentioned that it is cloud storage. So it is stored on remote servers. Google Drive is included with your free Google account. You get 15 gigabytes of free cloud storage. It's accessible from phones, tablets, computers, as well as to some extent on smart displays. I'm going to demonstrate here as well. So going back up to the app menu here, going to Drive, and here you can see the files that I showed screenshots of in this recipe document that I had just opened, as well as this letter. It lists the files that have been used most recently. And again, it has should have the icons where it's been shared. Something that's very useful with Google Drive is, say you have many, many files here, 15 gigabytes, that's a lot of storage, and you need one in particular, or there's one that you come back to, so you're updating your budget every month, and you don't want to wade through all of those files. Starring your documents means that they will show up here. So to demonstrate, I'm going to go to the letter document that I took a screenshot from earlier. Sorry, folks, some technical difficulties. I will bypass that, but whenever you are in the application in that file, in the upper left, there will be a little star icon. If you click that, it stars it, essentially makes it a favorite, and it will show up in this section here when you select the starred icon from the menu on the left. Moving forward, talking about Google Calendar. This is a very useful tool. It synchronizes your calendar across all of your devices. It's accessible on the computer, phone, tablet, smart display, and the like. You can enter in your events and your appointments and be able to reference them anywhere at any time. So here I'm going to demonstrate with the calendar. Here in the app menu, I've entered in some of these events for our digital programs. So one that occurred yesterday was Tech Topics. Have the date and time here. Additional information as well. So I'm going to demonstrate here creating a new event. I'm just going to enter in the information for this program. So here it is already on today's date. I'm going to add a time here. We started at 6:30 and adjust here that it goes until 7. If you have recurring appointments or different meetings that occur at the same time, you can set these to repeat on whatever basis you require. So if it is a daily event or a daily task, weekly, etc., you can set that. You can also share this event with others and request that they join. That is one excellent way of being able to use Google Calendar. I'm going to jump back in here just for a moment. Something that I did not include here, but that I did show in my screenshot, was that you have the option of adding a description. This is something that will be displayed to others, so if you send invites to others, they'll be able to see the description. It can be very useful if you need to supply, say, a web address or URL for someone to check out a website before coming into the meeting, or supply notes that way. So all of these applications are all available with your free Google account. So I'm going to bring Chris back, and we're going to move into our Q&A section. I'm going to turn on my webcam now, and Chris, I invite you the same.
All right. Thank you for that presentation, Clay. That was a lot of information in there. And now As Chloe mentioned, it is the Q&A portion of the program, so feel free to post your questions. You should see a question section in your control panel, and if you're on a tablet or phone, you may have to tap on the attendee section to get to that area. But yes, we already have some questions coming in. You may have already covered this, I think you did, but someone's asking, I have a Gmail account. Do I need to create separate accounts for each of these services and tools? No, you do not have to create a separate account. When you sign up for your Gmail account, you have access to all of these services and tools. And what happens is you can just sign into that account and you can access them all using that same username and password. Another question that we're getting here is in Google Docs, it looks like we have Chloe coming back on. Hey, Chloe.
Hi, sorry about that.
That's okay. We just had one question we went over. Someone was asking about having the Gmail account and if they needed to create a new account, and I answered that one. But we have more questions, so welcome back. We're glad to have you back. You talked about in Google Docs, there's multiple people can edit a document, and sometimes that happens at the same time. Are you able to see that person as they're editing, and can you see what edits they make?
Absolutely. So a document can be accessed at any time with those that you've shared it with. You can even have it up on multiple devices at the same time with your own account. But yes, say that I am in a Google Doc that I have shared with you,
Yes.
and you are making edits to it. Yes, I can absolutely see what you're typing in when, and there will be a little note with an icon that does the time and highlight what additions you have made.
All right. Well, that's good to know. Yeah, we're collaborating on documents and stuff. It's good to know what changes are made, so that's very handy. This next question is also related, I believe, to the same, the Google Sheets, not Google Docs, Google Sheets. They were asking, is that compatible with Microsoft Excel? Or like, would they?
Yes, so the file types are compatible. If you have a Google Sheets file that you want to export into Excel so that someone else can manipulate, you can do that. If you have an Excel file that you want to upload and be able to share with someone else so that they can change it, but they don't necessarily have Excel, it will be converted into a Sheets file.
Oh, okay. And I guess that, like you said, that applies also to like Google Docs. That I'm guessing it's compatible with Microsoft Word. Very good. Well, that's good to know. Yeah. Someone's asking about, they have an Android device with the Google Drive app. I guess a lot of the Google apps are already on those devices. And they're asking if they were to upload a file to the app on their phone, would they be able to see it on their computer if they logged into that same account?
Yes, you can. You can see it across all of your devices. You just need to make a network connection so that if you add the file on your phone, make sure you're connected either to Wi-Fi or you have good cell service. It will upload it and it will be accessible from any device through that same account.
Excellent. All right, do we have any other questions from the audience this evening? I'll give them a few more seconds. If anybody wants to post a question, we can get an answer for you. I'm a big fan of all the Googles. I don't use them all, but I'm a big fan of the Google services. It's so easy and very handy in so many situations. I can vouch for it. All the things that Chloe covered, although I haven't used them all, it's worth pursuing if you want to be more organized or store things in one spot. All right, so that is all we have for questions. And now we're going to do our closing slide here. If you'd like to contact the library, you can call the number here on our screen, 813-273-3652, or you can go online at hcplc.org/contact. Also on our website, you can submit your library story. Let us know how the library helped you or touched you in any sort of way. We'd like to hear those stories and we can share them at hcplc.org/about/stories. And also you can find out about upcoming programs like this one at our calendar at hcplc.org/events. Okay, I'm going to stop saying hcplc.org, and I'm going to thank Chloe for the great presentation. You did a great job, and we appreciate that. And we thank everyone for joining us tonight. And I wish you all a great evening. Good night. Good night, Chloe. Good night, everybody.